Hi, everybody. I'm at the home of Will Pugsley, and we're going to talk with Will today about an auction that we did for him in hopes that it'll help some of you folks that are considering selling get an idea of what Will went through and what he thought of the whole process. So, Will, would you start out? Well, first of all, thanks so much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Would you start out maybe just tell everybody what it is that we sold for you so they kind of know what you were selling?
We had a family farm that we were ready to sell, including a couple of houses and lots of barns and so forth. Been in the family for 172 years.
Yeah.
So a little apprehension there, but we knew it was time.
Yeah.
And we sat down and decided that we felt we needed to have a land auction rather than just try and market the farm through a realtor.
Yeah.
And I was familiar with Miedema from attending some past sales. So the first thing I did was give you a call and invited you down, and we had our first meeting, and we both brought each other up to speed as to backgrounds and your company and our farm, and we laid out a game plan on how we thought we should proceed. And from there, you met with my wife and I, and we basically started the groundwork. And from then on, it was your machinery in action. I was amazed at how easy and simple and smooth things went. You have a great team of people working for you.
Well, thank you.
Very professional.
Thanks.
Every step of the way, the process was flawless. Communication was unbelievable. Every person that did something in our journey through the sale called us, explained us what they were doing, brought us up to speed, emailed us constantly. We were never in the dark at all on where we were in the process and what our timelines were and what we had to get done by such and such a time and so forth, and just made it so easy.
Good. What do you think you liked best about the whole auction process, or what do you think was the main advantages, or just give us your thoughts on that.
Well, of course, you know that when the auction starts, the farm is going to sell.
Right.
And when the day is over, the farm's going to be sold.
Right.
And everything after that just happens automatically. So there's a great relief in knowing that things are going to be final.
Right.
We're not going to be worrying about potential buyers not being able to get their financing and this and that. That's all prearranged. There's no question there. People come to your sale, they have to be prepared to buy that day. And that's always a great relief. So we were really impressed with that. And I'll be honest with you, the auction day itself is the most fun we've ever had.
Well, good.
It's a fun event. It's fun to watch it and see how it progresses and develops and evolves. Friends and neighbors always come. So it's an event. And we had it right at the farm, of course, in our big barn. And it was just a lot of fun.
Well, when you've been around as long as you guys have been around and had a farm that long, you get to know a lot of people, and it becomes kind of an event in the neighborhood, doesn't it?
It certainly was.
So we divided. You had 146 acres, I think, wasn't it?
158.
Okay, so I didn't even remember that right. But anyway, what we did was we divided into several smaller parcels. And maybe tell us a little bit, Will, about how you think that worked out for you. Because what we did is we had several smaller parcels, and then we offered it in its entirety, and then we were able also to offer it maybe in 2 or 3 parcels and so on like that, so people had an opportunity to bid as they want. How did you think that process worked for you?
It worked extremely well, and I was in great favor of doing it like we did it because we created some future home sites so that we could have
Yep.
Buyers interested in home property there, lesser acreage amounts, of course, and fewer dollars. And that was a great leverage against some of the major land buyers who frequent your types of auctions, who are interested in buying the farm in its entirety, and then developing it themselves. So we knew we would have several of those types of individuals there, which we did. And we also had several individuals locally who were interested in homes that were there and home property, which was excellent. And so the two leveraged one off the other throughout the sale. And when my wife, who was not at all familiar initially with the process of this type of auction, thought for sure that the farm would sell to one buyer. And I said, I don't think so. I think you'll be surprised. And as it turned out, we offered the farm in a total of 9 parcels of various sizes. And when the sale was over, we had 6 new owners of property. And in all cases, the major players couldn't win out against the groups of smaller buyers and combinations of parcels from smaller buyers who were able to take their parcel home.
So in a nutshell, it just created a lot of competition, didn't it?
It did, and competition is good. And as a result, I am confident beyond any means that we realized a higher sales amount for our property than we ever would have in a private sale.
Okay. Well, that was going to be one of my questions. Were you satisfied with what the farm brought?
Extremely satisfied. And even though, got to be upfront, there are upfront costs in putting a sale like this together that the seller assumes with you and so forth. And then there's a sales commission based on the final price. But even those combined resulted in what I considered to be a much lower overall sales cost of the property. So I was very much in favor of that. And the buyers were able to get their parcels. They contributed to the sales commission on their side of the sale. So in the end, I felt you were compensated at a level you should have been.
Good.
And
I appreciate that.
I'm sure you did. And I was very, very pleased and felt very satisfied that we had kept our selling costs at a very reasonable level.
Good.
And just really pleased with the outcome.
Good. And I think you spoke to this already, but I'll just hit it one more time. So our team, because you dealt with a lot more people than just myself from our team, from the beginning, maybe say when we started advertising way back in the beginning to the very end when we had the closings and get the seller signatures and getting the money collected, you thought they handled everything quite well and kept you informed. And
we've done closings on property before and have gone through that process. And the way your sales are put together, when the closings were all done, they were all done at one time. They were made extremely easy for the buyers to complete their side of the closings, who we never saw after the day of the sale. Those were all handled virtually. And your closing agent came right to our home, and we sat down and we closed all 6 property sales at our kitchen table. Doesn't get any easier than that.
Good. Well, Will, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we end this whole little interview?
I would just advise anyone interested in selling their property, no matter how large or how small, to consider doing a land auction with Miedema.
Well, thank you.
Because you won't be sorry.
All right. Thanks, Will. Appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate it, Sid.